It's come around once again, which is funny when you think about it, because it's a weekly show. But anyway, here is Ask GC Anything. Straight out of the blocks, we've got this one from Shutter Pancake. Are you ready, Matt?
I am indeed.
Guys, what do you carry with you when you ride/commute? I'm struggling to find room for everything.
It's a good question with a relatively simple answer. Basically, you need an absolutely ruthless rucksack strategy and/or
RRS.
Indeed, and/or a week-long plan. By that I mean the ideal scenario in relation to commuting with stuff is to basically on day one, let's assume it's a Monday, is take a load of stuff in on day one. Then every single subsequent day when you ride to work, you haven't got much stuff. All your stuff is at work, and all you need to do is bring back your washing, basically.
Yeah.
One way of doing it. So the first day you could have a really heavy rucksack, basically, leave your stuff at work. Or, as some people do, go in the car or on the bus or on the train, take your load of stuff in and do it that way around, as you do. But if you can't do that, you are stuck to carrying a load of stuff on day one, and then and just clearly thinking about what you're doing. And don't take unnecessary stuff. This is a big bugbear with you, isn't it? You do not suffer unnecessary baggage gladly, do you?
No, so actually one thing I do is that I know some days I'm gonna have to take more stuff, so I make my commute to and from work as straight and as quick as possible. But on the days where I'm having a bit of fun, so you know, an hour and a half before work, I make sure I have nothing but my ride stuff with me. So everything is left at work. So it's literally a genuine hour and a half fun ride with no rucksack, and that is good. Anyway, we have more tips than just this, don't we? And so why not check out the video that's going on behind us, which is top 10 tips for commuting. So it's like that tip, but 9 others as well.
There's actually 2 packing tips and 8 others. Now, I had a rucksack strategy, which I haven't actually shared until now. And it combined entertainment and a crisp work shirt. And here's how I did it. Rucksack, magazine, thick stock, shirt, 2 bags. We're going for the double bagging. Spread out your shirt, button it all the way down, fold, then get your magazine, slide it underneath, get bag 1, in she goes, and tie it up with double bagging. In your rucksack, and away you go. Sorry about that picture of me in my pajamas, but let's move on rapidly to this question from LDTV in the comment section. LDTV asked, quite simply, how do I winterproof my bike on a tight budget? Sorry.
Well, that is a very timely question, isn't it? I think there's 2 ways of approaching it. Firstly, there's to try and make your bike last through the winter, so not getting abraded by grit and water and so forth. So cleaning, lubricating, and also greasing, so protecting delicate bearings. And then there's also accessories that you can add to your bike to make it winterproof. So mudguards, definitely one. Lights, because we've got poor light conditions. And then also, the last one I think would be tyres. So some thicker, heavier duty, more puncture resistant tyres would probably be worth investing in.
And amazingly, Si, you probably know about it because you were actually in the video. When you look at the question that LDTV asked, how do I winterproof my bike? We've got a video here called How to Winterproof Your Bike.
Yeah, I'm talking about lube, look.
Check it out.
Oof. Now, mudguards or fenders are probably the least sexy but most practical of all winter bike accessories. To fit a really full bomb-proof pair, then you're going to need to have a bike that's got bosses that you can actually bolt them onto.
Time now for the rapid fire round. Let's get on with this question from Rick Snyder, aka @orange_Saluki. He asks, at GCN tweet, with Peter Sagan holding both the European and World Championship jersey, will the European jersey be worn by the runner-up or not at all?
Not at all is your answer. World champs, of course, trumps European champs. But because Sagan holds both, as you say, no one will wear the European champs jersey.
And I think even if Peter Sagan hadn't won the World Championships and therefore could have worn the European jersey, I don't think anybody wears that European jersey anyway.
No, because it's not ratified by the UCI.
It's not, unlike National Championship jersey, which they would wear.
Exactly.
But again, the World's jersey trumps Nationals jerseys.
It does indeed, as you common sense would dictate. Right, Ian Wesley, up next. I came off at speed today. Sorry to hear that, Ian. My first road rash, ouch. Does this make me a proper cyclist?
Yes and no.
Oh, interesting. Can you elaborate?
You're clearly a proper cyclist if you fall off, but no doubt you need to improve your cycling if you fall off. So it's a double-edged sword. I'm a proper cyclist, but also I need to get better. What do you reckon?
I can't argue with that.
Always look for improvements.
Yeah.
Don't fall off, but if you do, it's kind of who we are, isn't it?
It is, but equally road rash shouldn't be a badge of honour. It should be something you're a little bit embarrassed about.
Don't intend to, if you're watching this and you've never fallen off your bike, don't fall off on purpose to become a proper cyclist. Best off just not falling off.
No.
But it happens.
Very good, very good point. Okay, next up.
This is from Noah Bakos in the comment section. GCN, just wondering how far the pros shave up their legs. Cheers.
They don't stop, just go all the way straight up. Don't they all?
Well, I at the moment, I've got hamster pants. I just go that far beyond the cuff of my shorts because I can't be bothered shaving any further than that. But when I was a pro, I went all the way. How about you? Are you a hamster pant man?
I'm a hamster pants man.
Are you a kind of thong man?
I'm a hamster pants man, but also because I'm in a long-term relationship, so it's not like it's not like anyone's going to mind about my hamster pants. Well, she probably does, to be honest with you. But she puts up with it now. That's quite a lot of information for an Ask GCN, I think, isn't it?
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on to this one from Dylan Jones.
Dylan Jones says, on the Spring Classics question in #Talkback, what cross race this winter should I see? Thinking of a trip to Holland, Belgium. Oh,
you start off, Si. You're a bit more...
Lucky man. Right. The Koppenberg Cross is an absolute classic. That's midweek, actually, in November, so it might not be the easiest to get to. Otherwise, what's it called? Hang on a minute, it'll come to me. What the hell's it called? Coxsider, there we go.
I thought that into his head, sorry about that. You can forward wind that bit if it's a bit dull.
Yeah, Coxsider, which again is in November, and that's the one in the sand dunes, which is just an absolute classic. Both of those are brilliant.
Actually, to be honest with you, if you can get across to any cross race in Belgium or Holland, there's a really unique atmosphere, isn't there? Just have a look on the UCI calendar. There's plenty of events. Have a look at one that's not too far to get to. Another one, bit of an obtuse one perhaps, the World Championships this year in Luxembourg.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That could be interesting. So the World is always amazing because so many people, so many Europeans, of course, travel to wherever it may be in Northern Europe down there. So great atmosphere there. Get to the Worlds if you can.
Yeah, Havre, that's another belter. Oh, we could go on.
We could, couldn't we? We could have a cyclo-cross sort of where to go and watch.
Top 10
video,
events to watch.
Actually, can you write that down?
Yeah.
Good lad. Right, finally, we've got this from Zabu 1986. Thanks, GCN, especially Simon. Giorgio Bronzini won't start the race today. It's clearly in reference to the World Championships. So you better explain that.
The curse of GCN appears to live on. I tipped Giorgio Bronzini for the win. Sadly, Georgia failed to make the start line because she fell ill. So yeah.
The curse is permeating across into women's cycling
up
as well. It's not good, is it? But yeah, maybe we should just stop tipping riders altogether, Si. Maybe it's for the best.
Probably for the best. Okay, so that's the rapid fire question over, and I put speech marks there because we meandered through that a little bit, didn't we?
It was the slowest rapid fire round we've ever done, let's be honest.
It was. So let's move swiftly on to this great question from Milliwatt, who says she is training for the Dragon Ride Devil Weekend, which is 90 kilometres on day one, 90 kilometres on day two, and then 305 kilometres on day
That's a
three.
quantum leap, isn't it?
Yeah, so she says she's pretty fit. She does about 3 centuries a month, but she doesn't know what to expect from a triple header weekend. So what are your tips around nutrition and training?
Well, it's a great question. First and foremost, that is a cracking challenge, especially day 3. I think by anybody's standards, that's pretty astonishing. Now, clearly, in what you've described in relation to your training, you must be pretty fit. Doing 3 century rides a month is probably more than I'm doing at the moment. Anyway, that's pretty good. So clearly distance I don't think is an issue, but clearly here what you need to do is look at riding back-to-back days. And what I would suggest doing, on the assumption that you do a long ride on a weekend, is keep that long ride, maybe extend that by an hour and a half or something like that. We're not suggesting you need to ride 305 Ks, but maybe you're at least sat in the saddle for a similar amount of time, up your distance a bit, but then, depending on work circumstances or whatever, try and do 2 days before, so maybe the Friday, Saturday and the Sunday, or the Saturday, Sunday long ride and Monday. Just try and get those 3 days back to back, just to get used to what happens to your body physiologically and mentally as well.
Mentally, yeah. And in terms of your nutrition, I'd say tackling that 305k day, you probably want to fuel up on solid food, principally, when you're riding, and take your time over it as well, actually, and make sure you fuel up from the beginning of your ride. But one thing that you should probably really look at, that you might not have thought about, is actually your recovery from those first 2 days. So we've got a video which is all about how to improve your recovery through nutrition.
Check it out. Your body needs fuel for riding. And primarily, it's in the form of carbohydrates when you're above 65% of your maximum heart rate, and of course fat too. Now, aside from very, very short rides, pretty much on every training ride, you will deplete your energy stores in some way when out on a ride. And finally, we have this question from Nicholas Cote. How do you change your cleats to get them perfectly the same as before? Take it away. So important one, this, isn't it?
It's a great question, because if you don't get your cleat position in exactly the same place before, because you're so accustomed to it, all your muscles work and your ligaments work in that exact position, then you could potentially suffer some kind of overuse injury, like tendonitis or something. So worth getting right. With that in mind, actually, you should also always ease into a new pair of cleats gently. So don't change your cleats and then go and do a 5-hour race the next day, or an 8-hour epic. Yeah. So give yourself an easy couple of days just to make sure it's all in the right place. But you can, of course, get your cleats in exactly the right spot as well. A few different techniques. You can either mark the sole of your shoe with like a marker pen or some Tipp-Ex or something like that. You can use a usual ruler. And then we've got other tips as well. In fact, in the video just behind, which is all about how being able to know, how to know when to replace your cleats as well as how.
You got there on the inside.
Yes, sorry about that. Thanks. Yeah. I was just so excited about cleats, I stumbled. What we're aiming to do is replicate the exact position on this shoe. And to do that, we're going to need to create a template. My preferred method is to use 4 pieces of tape to mark key points of the cleat. So one piece resting up against the front of the cleat to measure the fore and aft position. Likewise, one at the back, just to be on the safe side, and then 2 diagonals there and there. And for those, we can account for any kind of twist on the cleat, just in case there's any ambiguity from the front and the back ones.
Well, we're coming to the end of another Ask GC Anything. That was a particularly arduous yet fun little video, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can tell I was ready to finish by how well I handled that last question, I think.
I think it must have been that 305 Ks on day 3 that did for us both, perhaps. Anyway, keep your questions coming in using the hashtag TalkBack on social media and, of course, in the comment section below this video. Now, as we're heading into the winter months, how about checking out this video just here, our 5 essential winter riding skills.
Just found a gel. Or for our winter nutrition tips video, which again is very relevant, click just down there.
And to subscribe to GCN, it's absolutely free, as you know. Click on the globe. You're right, Simon.
Oh yeah, I'm making a hash of this as well. You know it's bad when you can't even open your gel properly.
Don't forget to share and like this video as well. Poor old Simon. Had a tough time.